Hey, good morning. I imagine nothing on YouTube's going to work either. Apparently, YouTube has updated everything in their back end. So, hey, everything's new today. Yeah. Cool. Well, let me reload on the coffee. I don't even know if you have sound. I think you have sound. Let me reload on the coffee and we'll get going. Yeah. All right. Sorry I'm dressed so casually today. It's been a long forever, but that's a blessing. Now you're supposed to be hearing music, but I can't hear music. Oh, I guess that should be plugged in. There we go. All righty. What's going on, Forex.Today? Hey, yeah, it's going to be an unusual week. We are going to meet at this time of day just for this week. And then things will just be rescheduled on sort of a normal routine. So nothing like a normal routine that gets shaken up by an abnormal routine. Do you know what that does? Then when we get back to the normal routine, you're so happy. Hey, look, I pulled all my hair out. Yeah, I've been working on TRADARS 2.0. It's like essentially done, but the world fights me on everything. I can't believe it. I've been 99.9% done for like days, and I just can't get it 100%. And I don't mean like little detail things like this is off by pixel. I mean, I can't get people to register. So it's really funny. It's the simplest part of what I'm building is the thing that's fighting me the most. But isn't that Murphy's Law? I don't know. We could get all upset or we could just move on.com and do the best we possibly can. And that's that. So anyways, yeah. So anyway, yeah, let's get on with it. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Okay, let's get a. Ooh, it's not sure if I'm logged in. It's interesting. Let's get an update. What's it going to do?
Pound US dollar slips as US China tensions cool. Traders eye Bank of England speakers.
Gold tops $4,100 for the first time.
US stocks showing strong move back to the upside. Tech and semiconductors rally. Oracle and Broadcom lead the charge.
Silver trades to a new record high.
Israeli Defense Minister Katz, any delay in releasing bodies will be a gross violation.
Gross. US dollar Canadian dollar technicals. The US dollar Canadian dollar is trading at highs for day and testing topside resistance.
Pi Network price forecast. Recovery at risk as core team wallets shift 100 million PI tokens.
OPEC points to smaller 2026 oil supply deficit as OPEC Plus pumps more. Pumps. Gold climbs to record highs as US-China trade tensions rattle markets. Pumping it like babies, as Trump would say. Pumping the babies. Yeah. What's going on this week? Yeah, there we go. I knew it wanted me to log in. There we go. What's going on today? Okay, later, later tonight. Not a big deal, I don't think. UK unemployment, sure. German zoo, sure. PPI, yeah. Canadian inflation, we go all the way out. We got to go to the 24th to get US data, CPI, big deal. So probably a decent week, man. Probably a decent week where, there's nothing really in the way, right? There's nothing in the way too much. So this week is quiet. Next week is better. Which is good because we got a lot going on. We got peace in the Middle East. We have geopolitics in Japan, all that kind of stuff. There's things going on, and the market down, the market up, and yeah, hey, well, it's a unique year. You got to be on your toes, yo. Okay, that's looking fine. It's funny, I haven't been on the site for like a month, except for these live streams. So wait till you see the new stuff. I know you've heard that a million times. This one failed today on 2.0. I wonder if it's failed here. No. Okay, good. That means the other one is fixable. All right. Oh, yeah. So we have changed this, didn't we? To Forex only. And of the Forex, I think we only looked at, was it yen? Just yen pairs, right? Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. Let's go back to that. Big move last week. Yeah. Aussie came down hard. Well, we're not very bullish on Aussie, are we? When we look at pound, pound came down. Look, it's just riding that moving average beautifully, right? Yen got very strong. Swissie and yen both strong. That's indicative of risk off. Boop, 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 boop. I mean, all of this, right? It's just like, have you decided whether you're going to trade the reaction to the drop, or was the drop an opportunity? Meaning, on the yen pairs, have you made the determination yet that you're going to be a buyer of the yens or a seller of the yens? So that typically comes from like seasonality, doesn't it? And so in the back of my mind, I'd like these yen pairs to go up. So now I have to wait for things, and you can do that with this tool, looking for things like double bottoms. Is that a double bottom? No, but it's trying to get lift off. Well, it might be right on a 4-hour 21. So you got to check your 4-hour, you got to check your daily. But as far as a reversal pattern, is that a reversal pattern? No. How about this one? No, not really. How about that one? No, not really. How about that one? Yeah, actually, that might form. What about this one? No, not really. What about that one? No, not really. What about that one? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, that might form. So we have just discovered if we were going to get back long, if you're fundamentally bullish on yen pairs, even though they're all down, we've just identified the two to be watching. Your first two opportunities, put it down on the list. Pay Paradise, put it in the parking lot. Right. Okay. So anyways, right. And so that was what, Euro, and what was the other one? Swissie, I think, right? So now you could zip over to technicals. Oops. And you could do that here where you're like, okay, Swissie yen? Was it pound yen and Swissie yen, right? I think that was the two. And of all the patterns that we tracked, not just the up, down, and sideways ones, not just the reversal patterns, but all of them, the breakouts and pullbacks and zippity doodahs and yuppity eedies. I don't even know what a yuppity eedie is, but of all of the possibilities for these two pairs, we see two. Okay. On the short time frame, which we were just looking at, we were trying to discern a double bottom, maybe producing a double top, a double bottom producing a continuation this way. But all we could see was this tiny little. That's all we were looking at. How funny, right? Like, that's it? Yeah, that's all we were looking at. Okay, so we got to put it into context, don't we? What's the context? Okay. So are you starting with this? Yeah, that's where I'm starting. Am I going to sell this? No, I don't think I can. I don't think I don't want to, nor could I. No, the answer is no. So here's kind of to simplify the world, because it's so complicated, isn't it? Okay. Maybe this year is different than most years, and Swissy yen is going to collapse and fall hard for days, weeks, and months. Well, my research shows me that's extraordinarily unusual, but of course it can happen. And there's even good reasons, like what's going on in Japan, for example, may not be great, and that could force repatriation of Japanese yen back home. Okay, and suddenly, unusual, but maybe yen gets strong. Cool, could be. The thing is, I don't trade could or should or woulda or mighta. We have to sort of have a basic overall philosophy in our style of trading. And for me, that would be trade normality as much as possible. And if something abnormal is happening, to observe it and then, respond to it, not react to it, but respond to it. So, okay, I understand that those yens got ripper strong. I understand the U.S. stock market dropped hard. I get it. And that makes sense for the yen to be strong. But I'm not going to buy the yen. I'm going to buy the yen pairs, which means I'm going to sell the yen pairs. And the pattern I see on the long-term chart is up. So that's that. Am I going to sell this? No, no, no. Just not going to do it. So if this is going to fall, it would have to fall for a long time and to make this go from a bullish pattern to a bearish pattern or even a neutral pattern. It would take, bad 10 days. But that would be extraordinarily unusual this time of year. So I'm going to sit around and wait for this. That's my strategy on this one. And to be honest with you, I don't even really want to buy Swissy yen. So it's my general philosophy on every yen pair. So now I can go through and I can analyze yen pairs based on that kind of ideology, but then kind of wait. Because the other thing it says here is, having analyzed the implied volatility of the two opportunities, there's one that's mediocre, meaning I'm long-term long, but the market is not long-term long. In fact, it's or short-term long. It's slightly short-term short, mostly short-term sideways. So then I can open up my field of view a little bit and say, okay, well, why don't you show me everything? Pound yen's not going to work. We already know, but let's leave it there. You don't have to be too hasty. And we can say, okay, well, if in general, I'm thinking yen pairs up, and maybe they're not ready on the short term, meaning like that little tip of that sideways triangle. Okay, let's look a little further out, maybe, huh? And now we got something, right? Something to talk about. Okay. What do you mean while waiting? Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I would phrase it this way, Luis. We know it. Wait, is this stream all messed up? Look at that. What the heck happened there, eh? It's probably a little better. Okay, so Swissy yen. Here's what we know. Because I'm not going to suggest you should buy or sell anything. Here's what we know. Seasonally, most yen pairs are up this time of year. So I've decided I want to trade what's usual, not what's unusual. So, okay, I'm looking to buy. Maybe not Swiss yen, but let's talk about Swiss yen. In general, yes. But now, not necessarily. So we know it still is bullish on it daily, but we also know it's neutral on a hourly, neutral to even slightly bearish. So what I would do if I were me is I would open up that my 15-minute and my hourly charts, and I would look for bullish situations, bullish setups. I would check for psychological levels below me. I would check for the daily pivot, the weekly pivot, the monthly pivot, a confluence amongst these. I would look at the angle and separation of the moving averages. I could use oscillators, but I would look at it this way, Luis, that I would drop into that pair on the small and medium time frames and say, if it turns bullish, I get long. I can't tell you that it's happening now, but you should understand basic technical analysis, right? So you're like, okay, I'm long-term long, but it may not be short-term bullish. So now you got to wait until you can confirm the short-term bullishness with the long-term bullishness. Now you have congruency there. And then you make decisions. What your decision would be, I don't know. But that's how you go through the process. The decision you make is considered alpha if it makes money, and bankruptcy if it loses money. Those are the two determinations. Yeah. So now you got to understand the patterns, right? So now we have all yen pairs, and now we have things like this, like what? And we have things like this, like what? All right. How do we interpret Aussie yen 30 minutes, 60 minutes? It's pretty much the same pattern. Okay. Right. Well, if you were a bear, do you buy at resistance or sell at resistance? I don't care if you were a bear. Let's just say you were a bear. Craig, see what happens. I don't like I don't like that. Yeah, a buy stop, sure, but sit back and see what happens. Yeah, that frightens me. Like my sergeant or my lieutenant says, "Hey, Wayne, why don't you just walk around the jungle and I don't know, there might be bad guys out there. We're not sure. Why don't you just kind of walk around aimlessly and see what happens? Let us know if you run into 500 VC. Just radio it in, though. Just let us know from afar if anything happens." You're like, So yeah, I'm not a see what happens kind of guy, for sure. But if you were gonna do it, Greg, cut the lot size, right? Test the fence. But Greg actually brings up a good point though, because you get you get into in your growth as a trader, you go through all these different cycles of you treat Forex like Fortnite and you just throw down a bunch of trades and see what happens. Now, I know Greg's got experience, so he's commenting from somewhere else in the experience level, but that's where we kind of start. Fire it off and it's fun. And then you go through a lot of losing, and then it's not fun anymore. And then you try a bunch of things, right? You do what all the gurus do, and then it still doesn't work. And then you get very mechanical where you're like, you're so sick of losing. You say, well, I will only trade if I have 9 levels of confirmation for a trade. The problem with that is by the time you have the 9 levels of confirmation, it's already happened. You didn't provide any alpha. Now you're only trading after the trade has already happened, which means you're either unbelievably late and you're picking up crumbs in front of a moving freight train, or you're totally late and you step on the tracks and get run over. And that's indicative if you look at our scalping tab. Some of our scalping patterns only offer like 12 pips potential, not even like minimum, like maybe even maximum, right? And the reason is they're so confirmed. Like let's say you say on the scalping tab, only show me patterns that have an 80% chance of succeeding. Well, it's because they're late. It's been quadruple confirmed, so you only have 12 pips left. Where were you 200 pips ago, right? And so anyways, you get to such a mechanical level. Mechanical, what I mean is so rules based that you're looking for moving averages and oscillators and multiple time frames and all these other things, and they all have to be lined up perfect, which is pretty much never, which means now you never trade. So when you started, you traded anything, and then you get to this point where you're so sick of the losses that then you have these like rules of engagement of 9 levels of confirmation, which means now you never trade, which is one way to stop the pain. Okay. Yeah, Kayla, I don't use much leverage at all. Yeah. Most people would use significantly more leverage than me. Um, what I teach, if you read my book, it says as you grow your account size, the ratio of lot size per the size of your account gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller over time. So I understand in the beginning you need to use leverage because you don't have a lot of money and you got to get the account big. But then trust me when I tell you this, if you stay at that leverage level, which isn't even a good idea, but I understand the thought process. But if you stay at that leverage, what happens is the money gets too big too fast and you're not psychologically ready, which means you don't actually have the confidence. You'll self sabotage and you'll destroy that account just as quickly as you built it up with leverage. You'll destroy it with leverage. Um, and destroying it's much easier. So, the probabilities are greater. So instead, what we have to focus on is getting your account size up. But at the meantime, building confidence through actual trading experience. It's that ego versus egotism. You have to have the strength and the fortitude to be able to trade bigger money. And that has to happen over time. So there's a lot that goes into that. But you'll get to a point where what do you need leverage for? I read a tragic story on LinkedIn because I made a post and somebody posted that his buddy, a professional crypto trader, had committed suicide over the weekend. Because he said because of the crash. I'm like, oh my God, did Bitcoin crash? And I looked at the market and, it's 115K. I'm like, it was only 120K the other day. What crash? Well, everything seems like a crash when you're leveraged to the hilt. And so this person lost his life. And it occurred to me like, oh my God, it was leverage. What crash? Yeah. Well, you know, one lady's pullback is another man's crash. So yeah, I don't leverage isn't good. If you it's a poisonous pill, isn't it? In the beginning you kind of need it. Um but it's like, fentanyl makes you happy. Um but the more you use it to be happy, the less capable you are of being happy. And apparently chemically that's true. It makes you sad, so you want to get happy again. So you're like, I need some more fentanyl. But you can never get back to where the happiest you were on the first time you tried it. And then pretty soon down the road, you can't even get just to benign. You're on fentanyl and you're sad. So then you're like, well, what if I triple my dosage of fentanyl? That's that leverage where you're like, I just need to get back to break even. I just want to be not sad. Forget about taking fentanyl to be happy. I just want to stop the sadness. So you're like, well, I'll triple my dose. It's like getting back to break even on your account. Oh, I'm down 40%. I guess I should quadruple my lot size. OD. So these are very serious topics, and I don't take them lightly. So I hope I haven't, upset anybody, but these are real things. And that did happen to a crypto trader, somebody new on LinkedIn. And I felt terrible because I know the stress that traders go through. Oh my God, I've been there a million times. But then I also panicked. I'm like, what crap? I'm like, oh my God, is Bitcoin at 75? I've been busy on 2.0. So I'm like, oh my God, right? And I pull it up and I'm like, what crap? I mean, that little dip, not at 1,000 to 1, that little dip is the end of the world. And it quite literally was the end of somebody's life. And it's just tragic, but it's a reminder. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely tragic. Anyway, so what are we trying to do here? We're thinking about buying a dip, right? Okay. Uh, buy a dip? Nope. Buy a dip? Nope. What about this? Nope. What about this? Yep, maybe. Euro yen, put that on the list. CAD yen, yep, put it on the list. Dollar yen, yep, put it on the list. Take note of the short time frames. There are only yeps on the short time frame. Now, you want to double check your 4 hour and your daily, which we might get to next because I see a 4 hour here. We want to make sure that they also are bullish. Like you, I don't want you to have 9 levels of confirmation, but I want you to start on the 4 hour. Is the 4 hour bullish or bearish? Wayne, it's bullish. Good. Drop into a 15 and look for bullish opportunities on the 15. That's the level of detail here. Okay. So you're like, so if this is bullish on the 4 hour, then this is not, or this is not, this is not good. Okay. That's enough. So here we are, triangle breakout. What pattern is this? Up, down, or sideways? This is that beautiful 4 hour we were looking for to confirm this. Guess what? It's neutral. So not now. Okay, not now. Don't do it. You're too early. CAD yen. Rising wedge breakout. No. That's only on an hourly, but that's a pass. And 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 Kiwi 4 hour, maybe. And ABC. Yeah, maybe. Daily big pullback. CAD yen, pullback, roll, reversal. Yeah, okay. Yeah, CAD yen's amazing. CAD yen here, breakout, pullback, roll, reversal. So you know what? This herd is thin, and we get right back to our Swissy yen. Looks pretty good. This Kiwi yen, we tested and tried to do a breakout. The way to trade that is to get a pullback, which we did, a monster pullback. But you might want to look at treating it like a roll reversal. If I have my drawing tool here. I'm talking about this. Okay. And that's a maybe. Okay. That's a maybe. Cool. So thank you for your patience for all that whom subscribe to TRADARS. You you might be trying to log in and maybe you get the version that I just went through. Maybe you're getting some other version. Maybe it won't let you log in at all. But the last real issue that I'm dealing with is the communication between the front end, the back end, and the membership management engine. And so here's the bottom line. Bottom line up front. It might work later today. And you'll just have TRADARS 2.0, and there will be no marching bands. There will be no young children throwing flower petals at my feet when I walk in with the sun blazing behind me and I walk in. Hello, everybody. I bring to you the future. No, you'll log in. You're like, holy schnickerschnock. Sebastian says, "What, Wayne, do you know when we get the COT? When they open up the government?" Okay. And then will want to check out the cftc.gov website for information about that. Okay. So you can go to cftc.gov. So this is where we get our data. Okay. And you'll just need to track it like everybody else. Okay, to add to our complication a little bit, or to add to complication to our lives a little bit, I will be traveling, and I will be in a different city the rest of this week, and that means a bunch of things: YouTube, software updates, hotel, internet connection, and just general bad luck. And I've faced them all over the years. But anyways, this is going to happen. And is it ideal on our launch week for 2.0? No, but it'll be fine. So that's why I'm like, you know what? My goal right now is today, while I'm still in my home office, just keep grinding. Um, I worked 15 hours a day every day over the weekend. So I did a 40-hour work week, just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, no joke. And so we're very, 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 very close. And so my goal is just get it done. And if we don't have a parade, I mean, we can't have the Blue Angels fly over because the government shut down. So it just might work later today or tomorrow. And you're like, oh, 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 this must be 2.0. And you'll look around. It looks kind of the same. And then you look around at other things. You're like, holy smokes, this is way different. And then another page, oh, this is exactly the same. And another page, what the heck is this? And you'll just be stunned. And some of the pages will work, and some of the pages won't work. And some of the pages are just delayed because the government shut down. It has nothing to do with us. It's the world we live in, man. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to cancel all the regularly scheduled TRADARS events for this week, and we'll do the YouTube live stream this time of day. I think that's going to work. That's my plan A. And next week, once I know 2.0 is up and running, and doing the things that I want it to do, then we'll schedule whatever we need in the live training events at TRADARS. Okay. And it may be the same, it may be different. We can do whatever we want. Yeah. But I'm already building upgrades, which is really makes me upset when I can't even launch the version I've already built. This is something so simple like the registration system. But once that's up and running and we get everything confirmed to be working, I already have updates about things that you and I talked about even 2 years, no, well, not 2 years ago, 1 year ago. And I've already built it. So we'll need to launch that. So I'm already past 2.0, and that's why I'm sort of frustrated where I wanted to launch it last week. So let me work on that, and I will see you tomorrow from another part of the world. So thank you for your patience. It's going to be rewarding. Your patience will be rewarded, and maybe, like I said, later today, or maybe it's tomorrow. I hope today. Thank you to you. Thank you to Traders Way. Thank you to the CFTC. I hope you